Good morning, everyone. We're going to talk a few minutes about the cost of doing business. Now, I can't paint today because I am still in the middle of my mess of things that I was pricing to go to the retail booth space. And I got distracted from that yesterday because my husband, who works for me, or with me, I guess is a better way to say it, was injured. He managed to step on not one, but two screws, one in each foot. And we had to go to the doctor and get a tetanus shot. And from there, we left with him hobbling along to go and remove a 260-pound TV for somebody. Now, we had an employee that met us there. We ran nearly an hour late, so I had to call my customer twice to update him on time, and he was very kind and generous. And my employee, I had to pay for a full hour for 10 minutes of work, which I probably would have done anyway. You need to be considerate of your employees to keep them, worth it to drive across town and use their gas and everything to meet you, all that kind of thing. This particular person has another job. He works for us after his other job. So I thought it would be interesting for you to talk about the cost of doing business. Now, it doesn't matter what kind of business you're in, and if it's a hobby. Okay. I teach podcasting. So you can find out about that over at expertpodcastacademy.com. But there is an expense to podcasting. Every single one of my episodes has to be edited. I have to pay for hosting and website design and all of those kinds of things. They all factor into your costs and into your expenses, into your profitability. Now, I tell you a lot that I have multiple businesses, and some of the businesses would fall more under hobby businesses or side hustles, and that might be where you want to start. Now, I see I could have done a little bit better lighting here, or I could actually turn. Oh, there we go. Hello, it's a miracle. You can see me. And I know I don't have any makeup on. My grays need taken care of. It's all good, right? We get older and you start going, okay, I care less about this stuff. I watch some of my beautiful friends on their YouTube videos. And one of them, who's kind of my hero, she has long, beautiful hair. I have very long hair. And she paints with her hair down. Well, the reason my hair is up all the time is because it gets in everything and everything gets in it. So I avoid that by just slapping it on top of my head. And sometimes it stays there all day and sometimes not, especially if I'm going out. But I have all these beautiful dresses and beautiful clothes and beautiful jewelry from my life in California. And here in Kentucky, where I work from home most of the time, it just stays where it is, and a lot of it hasn't even been unpacked yet. So, okay, we started out with the hangers. That for what I am doing with the little booth space, that's an expense, and those are expenses you don't think about. I have probably spent $50 on labels, price tags, and price tag machine guns, and you need one to slap them on, and you need another one to stick it in clothing, and things like that. Another thing with the booth space, there's theft. You have loss. You need to factor all of those things in. Insurance. So let's say, for example, yesterday that it had been the employee that hurt his foot. Okay. I paid the bills. My business paid the bills for that injury. Okay. Don't happen to have workman's comp with that particular business because primarily it's my husband and myself working in the business, and we're not going to sue ourselves. And this other employee has insurance with the other company that he works for. But, oh, and he's a subcontractor. Okay, super important. Technically, I'm referring to him as an employee, but he's not an employee, he's a subcontractor. So there's differences in the way you handle those things. Okay, so for my main business, Chance and Water, I have to pay for workman's comp insurance, and workman's comp can run anywhere from $1.20 to about $2 per hundred that the person makes. And workman's comp is funky in that they charge you a fee. You agree to a fee with them. Then they do an audit at the end of the year, and a lot of times they come back and they charge you more. Now, once or twice I've been lucky enough to get refunds, but you kind of have to fight for that. They don't readily give those. But those are just things to think about and things that add to your expense. It's real easy on my junk job to go, oh, we made $100 or made $50. Well, no, did I have $5 or $10 worth of advertising in there? How about the gas? How about the truck payment and the truck insurance and the truck storage? When we started that business, we have a great big huge parking space out here above me, and it's like 18 by 40 feet. It's big. And okay, they'll park our vehicles there. And immediately the neighbors complained to the HOA, and the HOA said you can't do that. And I incurred $500 a month expense that I didn't expect or plan. So planning is important for the things that you can. You need to add up your fixed expenses. You have to have in your head, how much do I have to make a month before I can pay myself? Okay. So I want to talk for a minute about real businesses versus a side hustle business. And it's not that it's not a real business, it's that sometimes you want to run things differently. I always encourage people run everything legitimately. You want to protect yourself and pay your taxes, report it fairly. You know, our government does good things for us. They build roads for us and we get fire departments and schools and all kinds of things that we need, whether we think about them or not. And you know, your sewage system and water coming to your home, all of those things get paid through our taxes. And so I most of the time don't have a problem paying taxes. Um, got a little frustrated with some of what was going on in California and I moved, but you know what? You take things into your own hands in the way that you can, right? So some of my businesses are more side hustle and some of them are legitimate. They're corporations. I go ahead and incorporate as an S corp. Those are protections to you. And that way, if something happens and somebody wants to sue your corporation, they can't sue you and take your home, for example. Okay. And there are some, it's just a way of legitimizing your business. What you don't want to do is called commingle funds. Okay. You don't run everything out of your personal bank account. You have a separate bank account for the business. Okay. Now, every once in a really, really blue moon, okay, let's say I have given my husband the debit card to go get gas and pay dump fees, and I'm standing somewhere buying something for the business, and I only have my personal card with me. I will buy it and then the company reimburses me for it and I submit the receipts and paper trails, super important. I use QuickBooks. You don't have to use QuickBooks, but you need to use some kind of an accounting system, whether you're having what I'm differentiating between a legitimate business and a side hustle. So let me give you some examples. My Jansen Water business is a corporation. My junk removal business is a corporation. Do I like having a bunch of separate corporations that I have to file separate taxes on? No. Would I have run them together if I could have? Yes. Did my tax accountant advise against it? Yeah. Okay, so I had to do what I didn't want to do. But okay, so some of my side hustles would be my dog breeding business. Okay, that is run under my Jansen business because what is my goal? My goal is to report my income and report my expenses and pay my taxes. Okay, that's really my goal. So that one gets swept under there. And I consider the booth and the painting and the resale of things to be related to the junk business. My one bookkeeper says, "Oh, you're gonna have to separate this." And I said, "Oh no, I'm not." You know, I get the stuff that I sell from the junk business primarily. And, you know, I put a little bit of money and time and effort into it. And I flow them together. Okay, again, the goal is to report my income and to report my expenses. So those two are clumped together. So that's how the side hustle flows under the legitimate business to make everything. Now, would an IRS person that was doing an audit think that was okay? Probably. I don't think I'm doing anything wrong. I think it's better than trying to do something and not reporting it and not paying your taxes. So those are just some things to think about. We're talking about expenses and accounting for things. So in my little, let's say over there, hopefully you can see that because I can't see what I'm pointing at. There's an armoire over there that I'm going to paint. Okay. A lot of times things that I paint, I replace the hardware. So that's an expense that I need to think about from the very beginning on how to price it. And here's a trick with the painting. If you're going to replace hardware, a lot of times you have to fill those holes, sand it down, and drill new holes because you're not going to be able to find something that's exactly the same distance apart. Okay, so I'm talking today more generically, and I did sign up the other day to be a DIY paint retailer for DIY chalk paint. I love that chalk paint, and I'm so excited to be doing that. That will be in my booth. I will create a website to sell that from. Oh my gosh, you want to talk websites? I am finally letting go of some of my domain names, but I had about 300 of them, and I have a lot of different websites. So for example, I have princesspower.com, which is one of my main sites. If I didn't tell you in the beginning, I am Natalie Thomas from princesspower.com. And in my podcast, I teach about health, I teach about wealth, and I teach about relationships. And under wealth, I teach a lot about business. Okay. And I'm going to be doing a lot more painting now and showing you my painted pieces, my furniture that I flip. There's my puppy yelling. I do the Expert Podcast Academy, where I teach podcasting. I've been podcasting for 2.5 years now. And I do dog breeding of Pomskis. That is a Siberian Husky mixed with a Pomeranian in order to basically, the attempt is to breed a smaller Husky. And they're beautiful dogs. I health test all of my dogs. We show some of our dogs. We currently have 2 champions right now, and I'm very proud of that because when I wanted to buy a Pomsky, I shopped for quite a while and I could not find a quality dog. I could find expensive dogs. I could find them from $3,500 up to $5,000, but that didn't mean they were genetically tested. It didn't mean they were health tested. I think that when you're going to do something, you need to do it right. Now, that doesn't mean you need to do it perfect. Okay. None of us are perfect. Things are going to happen. Okay. I can paint a piece perfect and I can have some bleed through that I'm going to try to fix, or I can get a scratch on it delivering it to um, the booth. Things happen in life and we have to give ourselves and others grace. I expect a lot of myself. I do expect a lot of others, the people that work for me. My husband and I work very hard and very fast in our junk business. And we find that people we hire, a lot of times, they're working by the hour. They don't want to work fast because they want to get paid for more hours. But I have to bid either by the job or by the hour. And my concern has to be the value that I'm giving my customer. So I know I jumped around a lot there, but hopefully you gleaned some tips. You can see I'm not wearing my amazing lipstick today. I'm going to have to get back to that. It's fairly early in the morning here, and I have to sit around and wait 4 hours in a 4-hour window for a roof company to come. My roof is leaking. And is that even good business to make somebody wait a 4-hour window? I waited in the last 2 weeks, I've waited 4 hours twice for electricians that didn't show up or call. Okay. Is that good business? No. All right. I was calling my customer yesterday. You know what? We are going to be there to pick up your TV. We had an injury. But we're going to be running late. It's looking like about 20 minutes, and it turned out to be an hour. I called him after the 20 minutes and updated him. I did tell him in the beginning, hey, we're going to stop and get something to eat real quick. This injury threw off the day. And the customer was very gracious. I had one guy, I had told him, we're going to come to you after we do this other job, and he needed it to be done by 2 o'clock. And this was on a Saturday, I think it was. And I had prepared him. Hey, I really think we're going to be able to get there, but there's this chance. Well, when we weren't able to get there by the 2 o'clock, he was upset. And then he called me back and he said, you know what? I'm really sorry. I really want you to do the job. And, let's reschedule it for tomorrow. But at first, it looked like he was going to be an unhappy customer. But then when he really thought about it, he realized that I had created proper expectations for him. I think that's always important. It's where people get their expectations off and this can happen in marriage and in relationships too. Um, if you paint good expectations, then things are just clear, and you need that. When I met my husband and we started dating, I told him, I want you to understand I am looking for he had said to me, I know I'm jumping around, sorry. He had said to me something like, oh, we'll date like a year and then we'll move in together. And I said, no, 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 no. I don't move in together. And I said, I am not looking for a boyfriend. I am looking for a husband. I knew what I was looking for, and I knew the qualities I was looking for in a man. Okay, now I'm really going off onto a different subject, but this has to do with expectations. So we dated about a year. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, ring, hello. And we wound up dating like 26 months. And okay, I will be honest, I had to twist his arm just a little bit to get him. He didn't ask me to marry him. That never happened. Okay, but we are married. We did get married. But I had to kind of draw that line of, hey, I love you. I would marry you. And I knew what his reasons were and what his hesitations were. It had to do with some, commitments he had, financial commitments he had elsewhere. And he really knew that he had a choice at that point, that either we were going to get married and go forward, or I was going to think about changing lanes, because I didn't want to spend another year of my life maybe dating somebody that wasn't going to commit. But he knew that I had been clear from the beginning. So whether it's your customer, whether it's your relationship, be clear on the expectations, what they can expect from you and what you expect from them. I'll tell my customers, oh, we take cash, check, or credit card, or so they know that expectation of how they can pay. All right, well, that's a little bit off from expenses, but you always need to know or have a good idea to the best of your ability, because there are always undetermined expenses. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I want to thank you so much for watching. I want to wish you an amazing, wonderful day, and visit princesspower.com to look at more of our podcasts, to look at some of the products that I have. I've got some great products over there. I've got a book for parents called the Desperate Parents Handbook. I've got scriptural affirmations, which is really an amazing way to build yourself up in who you are, who you were created to be, who you are called to be, how your creator sees you. So that's really cool. I've got a great program over there on budgeting and all that sort of thing, how you can really get your life and your finances under control, and you can be in control of them instead of them being in control of you. So again, thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.